And we are live. Back about a minute late, so I do apologize for that. But this time we're going to be covering My Hero Academia, Season 7, Episode 10. We are now in Part 2 of Season 7. Really excited to see ultimately where this goes. Very excited to be back in the saddle with you, the viewer. Without further ado, let's get into it. All right, guys, Brett here back with Geek Variants, cover all things Marvel, DC, Lord of the Rings, anime, gaming, Star Wars, and more. This time, My Hero Academia. And I want to say huge thank you so much to each and every person who has tuned in and subscribed to the channel. Been a huge blessing to us. And remember, we have a 1,000 subscriber giveaway coming to you, the viewer, here shortly. Very excited to give some exciting prizes away to a few lucky winners. But enough about that. Let's talk about the thing you're actually here for. My Hero Academia. And for those who are caught up with the manga, know that things are going to continue to get darker from where we were before we took our initial break. Sure, things were kind of starting to head in that direction. Shigaraki, darker than ever. All for One, still just as dark as he's always been. Let's just, call what he is. He's always been one of the true villains of any anime out there. His intentions have always been selfish, self absorbed, and promoting himself over everybody and everything else. Now he's finally just got the pieces of play to where he can put all the things he truly cares about, which is himself, Shigaraki, and Dabi, into the prime position to succeed. Sure, Dabi, when going up against Todoroki, finally ran into some level of resistance overall, the sums of which we haven't really seen in a good long while. It's still incredible to see just how much Dabi and Todoroki have both grown. Dabi's level of power was able to melt concrete, stone, and a metal statue, the heat of which one very, very wise viewer was able to figure out and let us know in the chat on the time that the episode was occurring how hot it would have to be to actually melt something of that magnitude. And let's just say Dabi was cooking. So for Todoroki to not only be able to function just as an individual, but to be able to function as someone who has the ability to make his ice power and his fire go perfectly in sync, meld together, harness that power, and then to be able to create the energy output necessary in order to one punch Dabi, that's incredible. It's a fantastic feat. It's a phenomenal feat. It speaks volumes to the whole family that Endeavor has created. Endeavor created this family under the worst and most heinous of all possible pretenses. Let's just put that perfectly into context. Endeavor is probably one of the biggest villains in this entire show, just based upon his actions alone. And sure, there's a lot of people that argue his redemption arc has been worth it. He's been someone who's been changed. He's someone who's getting better. He's healing. He's doing the right things. He's making time for his family. You had 15 to 20 years, give or take, when your first child was born to where we are currently on child, what, 5, child 6. And ultimately, you just now realize the actions you took so you could be a number one are heinous. Took you that long? Are we sure you're the world's number one hero? Are we sure you're even someone worth following? Like Hawks still blindly following this man? Brave strategy. But again, Hawks, as we know, not exactly the most straight up and up guy. A couple moral dilemmas here, a couple tough decisions, a couple unwise decisions. He has been making bonehead plays for a while now. He's been someone who's been trying to be this cool and edgy double agent for a good minute. How that's really played out for him is really, really tough to see because Hawks is truly giving his all to make all of this work. But hitching your ride and your wagon on the back of Endeavor is a crazy proposition. We saw how arrogant he was in part one of this season. He thought, you know what? All for one. The person who literally ended All Might, the person he could never catch up with. He let this man egg him on, push him over his boundary, and cause him to lash out and act foolishly beyond any shadow of a doubt, get triggered, so to speak, and then decided to attack this man, and then be shocked, nay, surprised that the man who is hoarding abilities like they are candies that the world will need should a global crisis just happen and have all the pieces in place. And you want to be shocked? Nay, just pity yourself when it goes wrong? My guy, actions have consequences. And when you do stupid things, you usually win stupid prizes or there's a stupid counteraction. Rarely is there a moment in time where you make a foolish decision and it benefits you. Endeavor, in being as rash as he was the last time we saw him during episode 147, I can't honestly believe in my heart of hearts that a series that has so many side characters beautifully fleshed out and well written, I might add, that Endeavor would just go absolutely ballistic and decide I can handle the person who retired, the man I never caught up with. That is like the epitome of any sports argument. It'd be like, I thought I could beat this person, but I never caught up to the guy that he was making a fool of on the regular. It just doesn't make sense. It would be like insert basketball player here. Let's say some scrub, Ben Simmons, is trying to chase Jason Tatum, who is still trying to chase Kevin Durant. You see the problem here? If this guy takes up this guy who's all the way up here, it just doesn't make sense. And from an anime perspective, it would be like going into a fist fight in the Dragon Ball Z universe as a human. Why would you do it? Do you know what these people do for fun? Do you understand what these people do for a living? They're called the Z fighters, not the Z huggers. And even if you're like, oh yeah, Yamcha, he's garbage, he's trash. Yamcha, as weak as he is, if we put him inside Earth, our Earth, he's dominating. Undefeated UFC fighter, best boxer the world's ever seen, best baseball athlete the world has ever known. The man could be blemishless. The man could be untouchable. He would be our version of Superman on Earth, realistically, at this moment in time. And that's the mindset that Endeavor had. He thought that being second or third best means you can just take out the top guy on an arrogant and absolutely asinine attack of all for one. It's foolish. Dare I say, it really shows why he never has been able to catch up to All Might. He always wanted to short step it. He just wanted to get angry. He wanted to lash out, jump ahead, and be somebody or something that he's not. And for whatever reason, well, he got put down, and I, for one, am here for it. Just like I'm absolutely here for the fact the episode 148, Wounded Hero, Burning Bright and True, should be dropping here in an absolute minute. Friendly reminder for those tuning in, we don't have legal rights, permissions, or authorities to show anything in the lovely rectangle here. So, just for all intents and purposes, don't want to waste you guys' time. It will not be up here. I'll be talking about the episode that is off screen through the Hulu service that I pay for so that we can discuss My Hero Academia in all its glory. Crunchyroll is a great choice as well. They're just usually late on the episode, so I jump straight to Hulu because I'm impatient. That's why we do some of these watch parties. I'm impatient. I want to watch these with you, the viewer, right now. Episode 148 is watching. We are live. We are back. I am excited. It has been much too long since we've been able to talk about anime with you, the viewer. I can talk about anime with myself all the time, talking with you, the viewers. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm excited about. Let's get this episode started once I'm done with ads because while I pay for Hulu, I was also still cheap and didn't get the completely ad free one. So, hey, what are you going to do? We are finally back with part two of season 7 as we near the end of My Hero Academia. For those caught up in the manga, let's attempt not to drop spoilers because I'm caught up and holy cow, finishing strong. Very excited to see all the different things that they have going on that they'll bring on to this series because they're going just as dark as they need to be. And I think Bones really deserves props for this anime and for the movie that they have upcoming. So very excited for all of that. I do appreciate that they're recapping what's going on though, because rarely am I going to remember something that happened last week, let alone 2 weeks ago. And then we'll have 11 episodes of this core, so I'm very excited to see how that all plays out for all of us, because I didn't think they were going to cover things as bloody as they are, but they have, and for that I'm very grateful. Class 1A going through the ringer. Oh, a new opening. Maybe that's what the break was for after all. I know it's very common in all animes to have that trope where you drop new openings, but so far not really digging it as much as part one, but I didn't even like part one. I'm hoping that they pick up this pace on the song and really get somewhere. Because like Chainsaw Man, absolute banger of an opening. The season one of One Punch Man, banger. Jujutsu Kaisen, season one and season two, bangers. My Hero Academia, I think, is kind of lacking in terms of like openings that really sell you on how great the anime really is because it's animated well, the story is well done, the story is told very intrinsically, and the characters are very easy to like. Even the villains, because like I knew very little about this anime going in before I started reading it, and then I quickly fell in love with the characters. And Dabi is easily my favorite character, but man, does he have flaws! Flaws like you would not believe. Yeah, I don't think this opening is something special, but hey, maybe the ending's like just a straight fire. But we'll get there when we get there. I never thought I would honestly see the day that we had so much synergy that a company like Disney, which owns Hulu, would be the one that gets anime as a premier thing. Like, if you're in my age range, somewhere in the 30s, they were doing everything they possibly could to distance themselves from the style of genre. And now look, got companies like Hulu. Well, not just Hulu. We got companies like Puma. We got companies like Nike. We have companies that never would have even touched anime. And now we have companies like McDonald's that are not only sponsoring anime, they're creating special sauces for certain animes, and they're creating Hello Kitty and Yu-Gi-Oh style toys. Wild world we live in today. Synergy and where the money is will really influence where tons of things go. Still waiting through commercials, folks. Got past the opening, haven't got to any of the action yet. This episode is going to heavily focus on Bakugo and how he really is able to not only handle but assimilate to the pressure that is coming to him and how he's going to propel forward. So I'm excited to see all that good stuff and more. All these commercials, they have people just game. Oh, God, she did lose her entire, like, well, not her entire ear, but most of it. Is she really going to talk back to him, though? Girl, mad props. Yeah, she's willing to fight back. You be like, "You are pulling on me right now." Good for you, girl. I mean, you're not gonna be able to get him, but, like, just standing there like a limp noodle is not gonna help either. Mm. The will of the quirks he stolen has acted up. Remember that. Very important moving forward. Hit him with friendship, power, motivation, see how much can really change. And Hawks is the only one that's gonna be fast enough to work. He needs to shatter that the unity you can't go for. Nice hit. We have a strong crack. Very good. Okay. How is she getting down? Mm. So we're gonna use Dark Shadow as our actual weapon here. There we go. He's just like, oh well, I guess I'm gonna just have to watch this happen. Took one right off the chin. Whereas if Endeavor didn't screw up, that could have been him delivering this blow here because he's not strong enough for this. Get in there, Hawks. Realized it too late. He's lost most of his senses. Say without eyes and without a nose, he's like somehow worse than Voldemort. They don't know how a quirk user could literally have their spirit of them being passed on could stop this. But hey, this is a society where people can shoot fireballs out their hand. What logic, really? Like at this point, sword, heart, goodbye. Super simple. But he's too strong for this. Yeah, because he's now motivated more than ever. And who did he end up hitting this time? Yep. That's somebody. There you go, buddy. Oh, you are missing a hand, sir. You really gonna go at it like this? Atonement, mistakes, responsibility of endeavor, innate weakness. No, you weren't able to become superhuman. You weren't able to become even human. It's like works possible, and you did next to nothing with anything. Your father tried to save a girl, ended up. Oh, forgot about his dad's backstory. Lost his dang dad. You can't beat All Might or even Deku. Nice seeing you, Chaos. Nice seeing you. Come on, Endeavor. Put the pieces together. Stand on your own 2 feet for a while. It's not to be cheesy, but he definitely needs to go beyond his limits right now. He's got a nub. Yep, you're missing a hand and you're missing most of your side right now. He's that has to hurt like crazy. Losing this part of your arm and now you're shooting fire through it. That cannot be it. Mm. Someone like you would make me call the pain. Wow. It gives Endeavor the biggest compliment of all, comparing him to All Might. Because he is really, really pushing every fiber of his being to be the best he can be right now. Hmm. Nope. Endeavor has panicked. Phew. Mm. He's calm. Or not. He's pretending to be. Nope. One guy who figured it out was like Endeavor is going to rush through whoever's there, whether it's a friend or foe. Fantastic animation on that. Bones has really stepped up the game. Yeah, just being dragged for forever. Mm-mm. Shot flames out of his eyeballs. Mm-mm. Endeavor's like, I'm owning up straight to my sins right now. Now he's gonna go try and do his Vegeta thing. He realized the future is not going to be him. He's gonna give this his absolute all so that everyone can have a future worth living. Mm-mm-mm. Oh, yep. He is going for the bear hug win. Like, protect yourself from this. I love you. What? And everyone has to witness this. Yeah, I'm with that guy. Huh? And now, will there be anything left? Oh, yeah, he. That's a nice one. That's a good size wound. Mhm. Yep, he always has a plan. Done using the body. And now it's time for the good old switcheroony. Aries quirk comes into play. A villain with nothing to lose is way more dangerous than a hero who has everything to win. Well, Endeavor is trying to prove his worth, trying to prove his quality, and he's trying his damnedest to get over himself. But is it too little, too late? Has he given the villain enough time to get ahead, to power through, make the changes necessary to overcome all the heroes? Because appearing on the front lines is very unlike him. So, assuming All for One makes his final moment in front of Hawks and Endeavor with the whole contingency of an army, he's going to be very, very well prepared. Even though he was the one who was quote unquote jumped, I don't truly believe for one second that he was going to ever allow himself to be outthought. And that's why he's outlasted these heroes for so many just decades on decades and continue to enforce his will as he sees fit upon our quote unquote, well, saviors ever. But now we're back to the coffin in the sky where Shigaraki is, well, I guess you could say he's got his hands full with the heroes. You can't touch that. You don't want to be near it. Everything's going to go badly. Got her. Mm, Where is Beth Genius pulling all this from? That's not the most complimentary angle for her, but all right. Mm, There we go. One hero trying to do something. Still not quite working. More All for One's quirks settle in. His body looks like the best form. 'Cause he's literally just doing this all with one hand. He hasn't even gotten his other half of his body involved. And he's gonna try and assimilate his own plans. They'll have the power to do exactly what they need. Come on, Shigaraki. You are definitely in the driver's seat there. Look at Bakugo go. Because he wants a little bit of vengeance for what's happening here. Okay, there you go. Now Bakugo is a little walking tank. Enjoy, everybody. I can't imagine that's normal, but this is exactly Bakugo style. And everyone's like, cool. He's got him held, so like let's get going. Monoma is still team MVP no matter what happens here. Everybody's going nuts down there. Having a great time saving money. A great shot of Bakugo. That would be a fantastic photo for a thumbnail. Let's go, Bakugo. Get everything going on. Because Bakugo is definitely attempting to erase what he feels is his fault. But All Might was he was gonna be done anyway. It's just a matter of when. And he didn't work his butt off just to let all this happen. That's a great nickname. Only Bakugo. Only Bakugo. And now we are officially at the halfway point. Bakugo. God level insults. He is a who's to say the movie even fits directly into the season? They could go outside the box. There's a lot of different variations that they can do. I'm just excited for the movie overall. They've always done a fantastic job of standing alone from everything to where they could fit either in or outside the timeline, whatever order. Sometimes the canon is a interesting to make linear. It was kind of like Yu-Gi-Oh, where certain times they would just jump between dimensions and time to make everything fit. Even though sometimes you'd be like, "Why is that not here? Why is this not there?" But at the same time, my hero movies have always been high quality to watch, super easy to enjoy, whether you're new or you've been around for a long period of time. Obviously, you've been around for a long period of time. Certain characters' growths are more enjoyable for the viewers, and that's definitely something that's always great to have as paid off when they've paid attention to their audience and made things really pop to that next level. And then another commercial, this time with Pedro Pascal, because why not? One of these days, folks, I will not be cheap and I will skip past Hulu with ads for Hulu without ads. Crunchyroll is probably a great alternative for it because I do pay for Crunchyroll, but they're always late on the episode drop. Just can't wait for it. Mm. Yep, the whole sphere is now too heavy, and now we're gonna go crashing down to the earth, a la Captain America. You know, what was it? Captain America, Winter Soldier. My goodness, this is what happens when you stream at 2:53 a.m. We are live streaming from inside the sphere with the craziest hair I've seen. What's up, Izuku? Welcome in, welcome in. Hope you're enjoying your. Well, you're not even in this episode, so you can make the appearance now. So that's fantastic. Hopefully, you're rooting for Bakugo in all of this. Hopefully, we'll see you in the next couple episodes because we left you off at a precarious point. It's like they're showing how the team continuity to take down Shigaraki is definitely all we need right here, right now. And Bakugo is trying to be that here. I do not touch Shigaraki. You need the explosion to be going first, or that is a full problem. That's got to be terrible. When you hear explosions, it's definitely Bakugo. He's getting a lot of respect from a lot of people right now. Man, he is just out here producing electricity, doing OT. Because Bakugo is shockingly thinking at this moment of time, which is the wildest thing of it all. Yep. And he broke most of his suit there. There it is. Shigaraki got him. Shigaraki got him. Oh, Bakugo. Like, they gotta get in now. Mm. Bakugo had a plan and it didn't go so good. Oh, ooh. Okay. Yep. Shigaraki's now just flexing on people. Bakugo's arm is very much broken, and Shigaraki just ate the biggest attack Bakugo was capable of. And it's not Bakugo's fault, it's just Shigaraki's now engineered a little differently than the average human body. Because he just wants Bakugo so he can hurt Izuku. So, hey, he's trying to hurt you right now, my friend. Good luck. No, he's in this episode. How in the world are you in two places at once? Hmm. It's a little cameo there. It's starting to become that way. Next week's episode. Oh, we're really gonna adapt that, huh? In its full entirety. Hmm. The big three. So if anyone likes Les Million, I'm sure you'll be quite happy next week. Very, very happy. Welcome in, Iandella, Landella. I'm terrible at names. I do apologize, especially when you add late nights on top of it. Absolutely crazy episode. So, without further ado, we're gonna jump in this episode recap because there is a lot to talk about in this one, especially from more of a psychological perspective than anything. Let me move me back over here. Oop. There we go. Back in the driver's seat here. So, with everything that we have going on here, let's just look at things from a couple perspectives. Let's start. We had a new opening, didn't really care for it. New ending as well, because every core there's going to be new openings, new endings. I don't really care much for them. I hope you guys like them significantly more than I did. Like as with all recaps, my opinion is not law. Please contradict where you feel like contradicting. Throw in your 2 cents. This is Geek Variants. Our thing is to talk about it. Let us hear your thoughts. Let us hear your feelings. Like I didn't realize we're able to pull star power like Izuku out here, but hey, able to do what we can. There was that moment. The episode already dropped. The episode is already up. I'm talking about full on recap, nostalgic. So just so you're clear, go check out Hulu, go check out Crunchyroll. Episode's up. Got either one of those. Head on off. Enjoy the show through your paid streaming services. Everything is already up and it's already been watched. We had in this episode the shocking reveal. I will say that yeah, you're welcome. Happy to help. That we had all for one, and his assortment of quirks that he's managed to pick up over the whoever knows how many decades this man has been hoarding away powers, hoarding away responsibilities. That the quirks that he's taken, when met by certain emotional responses, can develop a will of their own and hold him temporarily if they're strong enough, feelings, emotion wise. This is something that will come into play later on throughout the series. Keep an eye on it as we're moving forward. All for One, though, still absolutely no slouch. As a true, sorry, as a true villain, and as someone who has truly become, I want to say, one of the more diabolic villains in the new gen animes, he's always 2 or 3 steps ahead of where everybody else is. While Endeavor and Hawks and all of them feel like they have that ability to transcend their position power wise through the power of teamwork and friendship and positivity, there comes a reality check that is All for One. While he's even not going according to plan, while he's being held back by the will of the quirks he's accumulated, while his helmet is being shattered and he's getting surprise after surprise from these heroes, basically becoming plus ultra, going beyond, what they were hammering home through so many seasons up till we started getting into these darker arcs, that the heroes need to go beyond. They need to become plus ultra. He still remains on top. His power level and his intelligence combined are a formidable, formidable duo. Hawks is a fantastic hero and a very flawed hero. I was riffing earlier on about Hawks because the ability for him to just turn off his morals when necessary to get the job done doesn't really get talked enough amongst heroes. I think the Punisher in the US is probably the only one that has a reasonable comp comparison, or maybe even Batman, to the ability to just turn your morals off to get a job done. But even still, Batman still won't end people, quote unquote. As for Punisher, we know he's got a catalog of things that have transpired. Hawks in this episode really shined. He was really able to use his power and really assess the situations, come up with a cunning strategy, and make adjustments on the fly. When All for One made the adjustment that he made and finally was able to break free from the power of the quirks, Hawks' first reaction is to save the students. That is a heroic action. That is something that we need to honestly commend and let him know that, hey, everything is going on. The episode's already up. No one. It's been out. Hulu, Crunchyroll, paid streaming services. Check those out. Appreciate that, Zuku. But also, like with Hawks, he did the heroic action. He did what needed to be done. He made the sacrifice that no one else was going to make. Endeavor chose violence. This episode, he woke up and chose violence. Sure, this is the episode where he's putting all the pieces together. He's a bad father, he's a bad mentor, he was a bad human being, he was a bad individual, he was a bad just bag of flesh on this earth. That's what he was. That's what he is. In this episode, he's using his anger at himself, not anyone else around him, which is a huge step up. It's self-reflection, it's necessary to go and to lash out at All for One. So while he's doing the heroic thing, he's not necessarily doing anything that is completely outside the realm of reality here. He is trying to pull a Vegeta in the Majin Buu saga. He's trying to do the heroic, I'm willing to sacrifice my life in order to save those around me, even though the person that I am going up against at this time is stronger than I am, is more intelligent than I am, and is more well just thought ahead. And we see this before we shift away to go check out our boy Izuku. Everything with Endeavor should have worked. In a reasonable world, everyone but All for One and Shigaraki would have been decimated by that blast. Unfortunately, he ran into the one being in this universe, well, one of two beings, I should say, in this universe, who can just take that blast and keep going. And because of the work that happened upon Eri seasons ago that most of us have already thought about because we haven't seen Eri-chan in a while. Now, that quirk is going to be put to use, in its entirety and in its most diabolical and sadistic nature intended. Things are only going to continue to get worse if Ares' quirk is used and abused this way. It's definitely one of the most heinous things that happened throughout this show. There are very few villains where I can unilaterally or unequivocally, I should say, for better speaking, just despise. I like rooting for villains. I think it's fun. It's a different edge on things. It is a different perspective and mindset. But what happened to Ari was so heinous, so terrible, and just so sadistic. Absolutely couldn't if I wanted to. So now that her quirk is being abused by the most heinous man out there still alive, things are going to go terribly for our heroes beyond a shadow of a doubt. And then we panned right on over to Bakugo, who has finally risen beyond. He's finally risen above. He's pushed himself to this level that everything should have done. No one should have gone through that, Izuku. I absolutely agree. No, I don't care if I love you, if I hate you. And I don't really hate people. It's kind of a waste of time, personal opinion. But I would never wish it upon anybody. And to have that kind of situation just happen, it sucks. And now we have Bakugo, who's finally ascending beyond himself. Because look, Bakugo is one of the most self-obsessed individuals there is. But because of his relationship with Izuku, he's been able to mature. He's been able to grow. He's been able to adapt and see the big picture, see everything that's going on. And the fact he's willing to just go 1v1 with Shigaraki is absolute madness. I don't know if that particular arc is going to be talked about, but there's a lot of things that are going to be talked about. I'm going to try and avoid as many spoilers. I know how the manga is going. I'm just avoiding it spoiler wise for those who only watch. I like to stray on that very, very fine line of knowing but not telling, so to speak. And Bakugo was able to, all intents and purposes, hit that decisive blow. I mean, that was a point blank, all the power he had directly in the face of Shigaraki. Like he was here. He was literally on the nose, so to speak. He was there. And Shigaraki just ate that like it was nothing. He ate it like it was a bowl of Cheerios. He was happy, he was pleased, and he was so unbothered, he literally grabbed Bakugo's arm and then shattered it. Along with his, high-tech gauntlets and all the improvements that he had, Bakugo literally just got yeeted out of the picture like he was just human garbage. And that is terrible to see because Bakugo has worked his tail off to get to where he is because he's trying to chase after Deku and Izuku so badly. He wants to be one of the best out there, period. And Todoroki's had his moment to shine. Izuku's had his moment to shine. Bakugo, not so much. He's fun. He's witty. He plays basically, though, the same role that Inosuke plays in Demon Slayer, where you're not really going to get your chance to shine until maybe later on in the deep parts of the arcs. And that's kind of unfortunate to see that most characters of this trope usually do. And having him being relegated to try and pick up these pieces now that his arm's broken, Best Genius needs to jump in, and all these other heroes to kind of basically save his butt. It's not the ideal situation. Monoma is doing a fantastic job using the quirk that he had, well, quirk that he's borrowed, copied, to the best of his abilities to keep Shigaraki at bay. If we keep having more explosions like this and we keep having more just insane, you know, destruction in this now descending sky prison, sky fortress, I don't know what to call it, that things are only going to get significantly worse. It's like, have you ever tried to just not blink and stare at something for long, long periods of time? I'm feeling like blinking right now, and I just did because it's that hard to do. So for him to constantly have his eyes being watered, use a power that is only through your eyes, I don't think we're giving him enough credit for how much he's been able to carry here. Because if Shigaraki had his quirks, everybody might be sleeping right now. And I'm not talking about like a nap. I'm talking about we're putting some of our best characters on the shelf. I don't really care much for Best Jeanist. I don't really care much for the Bunny Girl. I don't really care much for Edshot or Scattershot. I can't even remember his name. He's such a side character that it just doesn't register for me. But if we lost Bakugo, we lost Bonoma, we lost our amazing teacher of 1A, Mr. Sleeping Bag himself, I would be wrecked. And as with many, many of these fans, and Shigaraki has the ability, if he's able to finally tap into his quirks, to end all of these characters on a dime. His power scaling at this moment in time is leagues above where anybody in that prison is able to handle. There's a reason they wanted to have our boy who is in chat, Izuku, there. He's powered up insanely. Episode 10 is already up on Crunchyroll and Hulu. Go check it out. It's already up there on those paid streaming services. So go be sure to check those out. Hit the subscribe button on your way out so you can catch the post episode recap. I am heavy into spoilers right now, and I do not want to spoil anything for someone who has not seen the episode. That would suck. I'd feel bad, even though we have the episode recap up. Still not the greatest feeling in the world. But this episode was fantastic from a psychological perspective. We saw Bakugo has been still wrestling with the fact that All Might is been shelved permanently. There's no workaround for it. He's just done. He can't even swell up for a matter of milliseconds. So for him to see his favorite hero and the person he most look up to and aspire to be, despite Bakugo's personality issues, deficiencies, whatever you want to call it, just be at play, it's eaten him alive. And the fact that his best friend, not admittedly, is someone who inherited his favorite person in the existence of the world's quirk and is now able to access them and has far surpassed everything he could have become has bothered him. Not from a jealousy perspective, but just wishing he had done things differently. And he's doing everything he can to rectify those mistakes here and now against someone who he has no business fighting. We saw how this went when they fought over the city in last season. It was one sided, it was short, and it shouldn't have been a thing. Sure, he saved Izuku once, but so many people paid. So many people's lives were thrown away in that battle because so few were ready, let alone capable of handling what Shigaraki is capable of when he's fully unleashed. So for him to being held back at this moment in time, and there being so many top 10 heroes within this sphere, let alone main character like Bakugo, and still be putting in that work and putting in that now army of hands, so to speak. Our heroes are in for a lot of trouble, in for very tough situations. And I'm very, very excited to see where it goes for you, the viewer. For those who've read the manga, we kind of know what to expect because they seem to be following basically step by step or shot by shot. Bones has done a fantastic job of animating the arcs that we've seen here. I'm very happy with what we have going on. I don't really have too much else to break down for you. This was a huge episode psychologically for Endeavor and for Bakugo. So our explosive, angry individuals, they shined this week. And it was a great showing overall for them. Moving forward from here, we at Geek Variants will be covering tomorrow, Sunday night, more House of the Dragons. We have the Acolyte finale coming up. We have the Boys finale coming up. And then we've got more My Hero Academia next week. So if you do us all a favor, hit that lovely red subscribe button. Greatly helps out the channel. And remember, we have a 1,000 subscriber giveaway coming up for you, the viewer. Tons of goodies for a few lucky winners. We'll have full details on that once we've hit that 1,000 subscriber mark. Stay tuned for more things from Geek Variants. I appreciate each and every one of you viewers. You guys have been absolutely fantastic. Had a great time hanging out with you guys. I'll see you more tomorrow. Have a good one.